With me now, Trump supporter Aziz Wehbey, a Christian Syrian immigrant who came to the United States in 1991 when he was all of 19 years of age. He's now a U.S. citizen. We also have Nolan Finley with us, the editorial page editor for the Detroit News. He recently wrote about Trump country, an editorial called "We Still Don't Get Trump Voters." So welcome to both of you.
Good to be here, bro.
Thank you.
Aziz, I read about you this morning, and I just really wanted to talk to you. I think it's fascinating that you have these, refugees or immigrants who are in this country who are saying what Mr. Trump is doing is a good thing. You say what he's doing is right. I want you to tell me why.
Well, we are 100% with President Trump in redirecting the refugee situation, which was made a lot of concern. A lot of us were concerned about the refugee situation that was put by the previous administrations. Now, and redirecting the refugee situation right now, especially with the new administration, is something that's very important to keep United States safe and to come back to the right track in helping the refugees, not only the Syrian refugees, but the refugees from all over the world.
But let's talk Syrian refugees, and let me just ask you, you had this great opportunity to come to this great country in 1991. I want you to tell me why your Syrian brethren should not have the same opportunity.
Well, in Syria, as we all know, there is a religious war. And the refugees that are coming to the United States of America, we have no background information about them, since there is no communication between the Syrian government and our government in the United States of America. We like the refugees, we like to help the refugees. We like to help the refugees going back home safe to their country by re-establishing communication with the Syrian government, by stabilizing the Syrian land, by re-stabilizing Syria, and allow the Syrian refugees to come back home to their homeland, to Syria, not make them travel throughout the continent to United States of America with a new atmosphere, a new society, new language. So we really like to help the refugees to come back to their homeland in Syria.
Aziz, let me come back to you. I think this is fascinating. Nolan, you wrote in your piece, quote, "They forced us to notice them on election day. We should remember they are still here." I want you to explain to me about just about half this country, they feel ignored.
Well, yeah, I mean, we had a great moment of reflection in the media on election night when Trump won, and we really couldn't explain the why of it, and we didn't really know the people who voted for him. And, we made a promise that we would get out there and talk to these voters who we don't normally talk to, try to understand, try to listen, and that lasted a while, but I think for the most part, since his election, we've done most of our reporting from the viewpoint of the people who are frightened and worried and fretful about a Trump presidency, and not much from the people who say, hey, we voted for him, this is what he said he was going to do, he's doing it, and we're happy.
You're right, we should. I mean, I remember saying to people above me, send me to the middle of the country. We need to understand, right, what's going on here and listen to these people. But I think another issue is fear. Some Americans who voted for Trump, have been touched by tragedies, whether it was what happened in Orlando last summer or 9/11, and they think that this reexamination of our borders is necessary.
Well, national security was a big issue in the election, whether it was immigration, that plays into it, the border plays into it. They did not feel the last president, the Obama administration, was taking their fears seriously. And so here came a guy along who said, I'm going to do these things to get tough on border security, on immigration. And now that he's doing it, I'm hearing this week from a lot of people who say, this is exactly what we want.
Aziz, isn't a piece of your fear, from what I read in the Washington Post, is if if a Syrian refugee were to come over here and fresh out of this, horrendous war, and do something, wage an attack here, that you're worried you would be lumped in. It would be the Syrians, right? That would be the bad guys.
Yes. Yeah, Brooke, we all know the Syrian community in the United States of America have done tremendous good job. We are very clean community where we work by the law. We are 100% loyal American citizen. We swore when we took our citizenship to defend this country with honor and honesty, and we will stand behind it. Now, when it comes to a refugee situation, because we have no good background check, because we don't know the refugee situation, we are bringing them from the refugees camp to the United States of America. We do not have background check while they were living in Syria because we have no communication with the Syrian government. Now, people who are coming over here, of course, they will have the religious hate because the war in Syria was built on religious hate. It was a religious conflict more than it's a civil conflict. It's a religious conflict. So the people who are coming over here, for sure, one way or the other, they might have a religious ideology that because they got hurt from it. So that's why we don't want to see a conflict over here, especially in Anatan, I want to say, my homeland. We don't want to see a difference in the ideology between the people who are coming from Syria, are pro-Syrian government, and the new refugees that may have been forced out from Syria for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think this is so significant.
It.
I think your perspective is so important. We should be listening as someone who has come to this country from Syria and is now a United States citizen. Aziz Wehbey, thank you so much for just joining me, and Nolan Finley, of course, to you as well with the Detroit News. Gentlemen, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Coming up next, President Trump restructures the national security